MyComputerCareer actually helped me set up my resume. So with that help, I was able to land a job within the first 4 months of attending school at MyComputerCareer.
A few weeks before graduation, though, I landed my first job as a Tier 1 technician with a large insurance company. And 6 months later, I was actually working as a Tier 2 technician with a significant pay raise. And kind of like my first job, they were also very impressed that I had so many certifications.
You have to look at what you want in life and where you're at. For me, MyComputerCareer was an easy choice because they offered me a better lifestyle that I really wanted, and it was the only place that would really give me that upper hand in life.
The folks at MyComputerCareer are very caring. They really care about our success in the IT industry, not just with certifications, but also with finding a career and really being happy with that choice.
Hello, IT enthusiasts. Welcome to another episode of My Computer Careers, Get Into IT Live, where we do just that, get into all things IT. And today we are certainly going to hit on that topic. We are going to talk about how to navigate the 4 certifications that launch IT careers. So if you are considering IT training, whether it's with us or elsewhere, if you're in the process right now, or if you just want to hear a little bit more about those 4 certs, this one's for you. We are going to go kind of surface level today. We're going to talk about what the 4 certs offer, what you can do with those things. And then just so everyone knows, the roadmap is we are going to then dig into those things in the coming months and really kind of look at each certification and give more information. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, because I keep forgetting to do so, Robbie's provided a little quiz for A+. Core 1. So at the end of this and maybe throughout, we'll share that link so you can go grab that. And obviously it may or may not help you out, but I think it's a great resource and really appreciate our guest for providing that, who you see here. I appreciate, by the way, Robbie, when you came on earlier and we were chatting, I forgot to mention how much I appreciate your haircut. Well done. And I am going to get to a proper introduction, but just so everyone knows, last week we had a great conversation with John Marcus from the Hechinger Report, and we kind of talked about the state of higher ed. So we thought it was a perfect time to talk about workforce education, and specifically those IT courses that help that those IT courses folks tackle early in their education journey. And those are, of course, A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, and CySA Plus. So we have the perfect guest to do that. I'm going to let Robbie introduce himself. He is the lead instructor in our Cyber Warrior program. But Robbie, before we do anything else, just want to say thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Good afternoon and good morning, wherever you're at.
Yes, sir.
It's my pleasure.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Robbie?
Well, I'll go back to 1985 when I first got out of the Army.
30-minute program.
Yeah. All right. And so with my GI Bill, I went to Texas A&M, where I first started playing on computers. All right. After that, I was a roadie for 10 years and traveled all around the planet, saw lots of fun things. Ended up marrying an Australian lady and moving to Australia for 10 years, where I worked for the education department. I was a regional system administrator. I was responsible for 60 schools, and I had 30 people underneath me. Wow. Came back in 2008 to Orlando, Florida, and pretty much started teaching in 2010. How's that?
That's perfect. Yes. So the shorter version is Robbie's been doing this for a minute, has a rich background, certainly, when it comes to IT training and these concepts we're going to discuss. Also has a colorful background outside of IT, which at some point we may talk about down the road. But really glad to have you here, certainly.
Thank you.
Before we jump right into the questions, I just want to remind everyone, Patricia is in the comments. So as we go through this, if you have some comments around these certs or anything related to IT training, drop them, and we will certainly share those with Robbie, and he will answer those to the best of his ability.
Absolutely.
So I believe, have all of our intros out of the way. Why don't we jump into number 1, Robbie?
All right.
Glasses are on, so we are official. All right. We just mentioned you've been doing this for a long time. What keeps you coming back, just to kind of lay the groundwork here? What keeps you coming back to the classroom?
I think in the beginning, it actually helped me learn a subject, by if you want to learn something, teach it, right? And so when I was younger, I think it was more about me. Sorry.
Of course.
But now that I'm older, giving back and I have decades of experience, I really enjoy, it's like I saw one of my students from about 10 years ago on LinkedIn yesterday, just got promoted to like chief of cybersecurity at Lockheed.
Wow.
Right. And
Yeah.
so and I get to play with technology, right? I get paid to play, right? Which I have a real problem when it comes to technology, Aaron. I'm sorry.
I think a lot of folks do in our world, but it sounds like you especially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ask my wife. She'll tell you all about
Right.
it.
Completely understood. And just so you know, we are going to hit you up for the name of that student so that we can reach out to them for a testimonial.
Oh, absolutely. No worries.
All
I
right.
can give you a couple, really.
Perfect. Patricia, I'm sure has already made a note on that one.
Okay,
All
great.
right. So why don't we just get into kind of the subject here, the heart of the matter, and we'll start simple. The Cyber Warrior program, our Cyber Warrior program at My Computer Career, is built around those four certs we talked about: A plus, Network plus, Security plus. And which camp are you in? Do you call it CYSA plus or CySA plus?
I call it CYSA plus.
Okay, and I know
But you can call it CySA. That's all right.
No, I know that's what it is. We had James Stanger on from CompTIA, and he let us know that's what you're supposed to say. I'm just being lazy, so thank you.
Oh, so I get it right? Okay,
You get it
cool.
right. Yep.
All right, awesome.
All right. So, Robbie, for someone who's never heard of any of those certifications, what are we actually talking about?
Well, it's like the core subjects in school: reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Love
It's
it.
like, we start with operating systems, hard, and not just Windows. Well, I'll get into that in A plus. We go through hardware, not just computer hardware, but networking. And the whole time we're putting in security, and we throw in the cloud. All right. And then
Right.
we end with advanced security with the CYSA plus. All right. So it exposes you to all of these different fields in CYSA. And I promise you that everybody's good at something. All right. You know what I mean? And so I think it kind of helps the student. We expose them to so much material, they figure out, what they really want to do and what to pursue. And it also makes them well rounded, to be hired. Right.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll talk about kind of I guess, the machinations of the Cyber Warrior program towards the end.
Yep.
And you can hear a little bit more about kind of the process and what to expect there. But I think that this is a great starting point. So speaking of a starting point, A plus is that. That's where everybody kind of kicks things off. No
It
matter-
is. And believe it or not, here in Orlando, the hospitals actually look for A plus. Those are the people they want to hire, because they want an all-rounder, where A plus is kind of an all-rounder. It's like we do the operating systems, obviously Windows, but we talk about Macintosh. We learn about Linux, which, Linux is a big server thing out there.
Right.
And we talk about Android operating systems and Chrome, all of that. And then we talk about hardware, not just computer hardware, but router, switch, the networking stuff as well.
Right.
And it's kind of a mad dash, right?
A plus is a mad dash.
It
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
It's definitely a basic class, but they expose you to everything. It's not, I can't teach you networking if you don't know what a router or switch is, right? So it's definitely that first stepping stone, in the right direction. And like I said, A plus is actually very popular here in Florida, obviously with Security Plus as well.
It's really interesting. Are you seeing an A plus is there a spot where people hit the wall?
I think in the beginning, it's really overwhelming.
Okay.
Right. And it's like, my manager, Allison, always says, I'm going to drop a name, right?
Yeah.
You just got to trust the program, right? You got to roll with it. You got to trust, your instructors, the material, because, eventually everybody seems to catch on, right? As long as you stick with it. All right. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's just overwhelming, and I want to throw more in, but I know you're going to ask me more about
Yeah,
this
no, I
later.
appreciate it. And it makes a lot of sense. And, we have Russ on the program a lot to talk about, various things that are happening in IT. And he made the point, I think, even a couple of years ago when he joined, talking about A plus, saying that it is a foundational certification that will be with you throughout the rest of your career, no matter how
Absolutely.
much you advance.
Right. And I think everybody should build their own computer anyway, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we'll show you how to build your own computer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. I see Dominique. She says, I see 2 Grant Gibsons, but no Grant Gibsons. I believe she's talking about our hairstyle. Thank you, Dominique. We're going to take that as a compliment. Appreciate it. All right. So let's talk about the next cert, which is Network Plus. It's where a lot of people might start kind of questioning whether or not this is really for them. To your point, maybe a little overwhelmed in A plus, then you jump into Network Plus. What is it about networking concepts that might trip people up, and how do you kind of work through that with those folks?
Well, networking is it can be a lot all at once as well. All right. And there's even a little bit of math. It's just addition and subtraction. It's nothing too hard.
Right.
And really, networking is everything, right? If your computer wasn't plugged into a network, would we be that concerned about security? All right. So you kind of need to know how the networking works. So what I try to do in my class to keep the students engaged is we do lots of hands-on labs. I'm actually a Cisco instructor as well as CCSI. And I freelance around town and do some side work as well. And so I get access to Packet Tracer. We all use it at the school anyway, which is like a network simulation program.
Okay.
And we do labs in class, try to build up their confidence, lots of questions. And you're right. That's when a lot of people really start to doubt themselves. All right. And so we open up during the day and encourage people to come in during the day to tutor with us.
Yes.
And it's it really is a good cert to have. All right.
And that's sorry, go ahead, please.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say it's a great point. We have labs, we have mentoring spaces that are open. You can come in whenever and just continue to learn.
Yep.
And that's a point that I didn't even think to mention. So I'm glad you brought that up. And I think whatever you're doing, whatever path you're on, you got to keep learning, you got to keep hustling, and that's a great way to do it.
Yeah. And so and we find that some people that don't actually pass that certificate while we're in Network Plus, by the time we get through Security Plus and CySA Plus, we have a really good percentage of students that go back and get the Net Plus.
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right. Because by the time you're through it all, it just gets a little easier with every class.
Got
it really starts to click.
Yeah, completely understood. And by the way, the math point, you'd be surprised, Robbie, how often we get the question on social about how much math.
Very little.
And I think we've actually done a video on it even just to let people know it's very little.
I would love to do a subnetting video for you guys because I do it so simple, it's scary, right? People that have been doing it for 30, 40 years are just like, I can't believe it's that easy.
We actually had someone recently, and Patricia would have to help me, that said that he loves subnetting. And it was an anomaly, I think, based on what we've heard otherwise.
But, as a student, it tripped me up as well. It really did. And so, I had an instructor that took a really, really simple subject and made it really made it tough.
Right.
Right. And so I think he kind of confused me for a couple months. All right. But once I got my head around it and started picking up the much simpler ways and started teaching it, there's nothing to it. Right. It just depends on the teacher. It really does.
Yeah. Yep.
And at MyCC, we've got some really good teachers, instructors. I've sat through a lot of their classes, and I'm not just throwing that out there. I mean that.
We really do. And not to get into a full advertisement here, but we did a survey about 1.5 years ago, and we asked, what is it about MyCC that you love and what helped you? And the number one answer was the strength of our instructors, like you, Robbie. So it was really great to hear that.
I feel like I've never been supported like this. It really is a great place to work.
Love it. The fellow loves the subnetting with Scott Rowlett. Thank you, Patricia. And we had Bruce that was just over in the chat asking about the tutoring. Is it online? If it is online, how accessible is it and how does it work?
Well, what we do is we open up the Zoom room. I teach a night class.
Yeah.
All right. So in my class, what we do is we open up the Zoom room at 2:00. And we just say no appointment necessary, come on in. And so me and my instructor, we just stand by and wait for people. I mean, obviously I'm working on slides and getting prepared for the night.
Of
But
course.
when somebody pops in, we'll take them into a breakout room and, go over subnetting and show them how to program that router again.
Got
Right. Or that switch, which they have some, pretty cool simulations on that exam. Network Plus is the real deal.
So
Right.
dedicated times that they know are available to them.
Yep.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so we also have mastery classes on Saturday.
Okay.
All right. And that's where you can come in. It's like I'm teaching one tomorrow on CySA. How's that?
Good. Yeah.
All right. CYSA. And so I think the last time I did Network Plus. And then we have mastery classes on Wednesday night as well. So if and that's a really common mistake. People think that they're just going to sit and in my class, it's like 5 hours. They think they're going to sit in class for 5 hours and it's just all going to work out.
Right.
You've got to study. You got to commit. You got to put in the time.
Right.
It's definitely worth it.
Well, you have a fan over that says, Robbie, hey, obviously good to see you. This person says SEC Plus is definitely easier to understand in a sense of the whole network area.
Right.
So yeah, really appreciate that over on YouTube. Thank you for the comment. So let's talk about Security Plus. It's probably the most recognized cert of the four.
Right.
And if that's incorrect, please obviously let me know.
Well,
what does it actually cover? And is this really importantly, is this something that stands out to employers?
Well, back in 2016, a law came into place that they approved, I don't know, in 2014, something like that. But in 2016, it actually became a law that you have to be Security Plus certified to work on a DoD classified or military computer.
Yeah.
All right. And so all I did was teach Security Plus for like 2 years. Being here in Florida, we have, Lockheed Martin, Northrop, Raytheon, NASA, Boeing. I could just go on forever.
Right.
And so so employers look at that Security Plus certification as like you're already there. You know what I mean? And so it's like, if you're going to work for one of these military contractors, especially with our military people that have their secret, security clearances and all that, they get
Right.
these jobs at these great companies. Having that Security Plus, you've already got that feather in your cap. You know what I mean? Because, by law, you've got to have it. And it really legitimized CompT as a whole, really, because there seemed like there was a lot of question before it. Is this legitimate? Blah, blah, blah. But,
Sure, of course.
It's definitely legitimate. Yeah.
And if you could just summarize and you might have already, and if so, just let me know. But what does it cover?
It's security. When you're in it, it's not going to seem like it's basic.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. But it was, it was a stepping stone for me. It was my first security class. Right.
Okay.
Being a Cisco instructor now, I write encryption, I do cipher suites, I, do IPsec and VPNs and all that now. And it all started with Security Plus explaining, like how encryption works, the different ciphers, what's the proper thing with social engineering? How do we, properly lock down this multi-factor authentication? And it really just goes through all of it. Right.
Yeah.
And so you're well-rounded and hopefully, you're going to be smarter because, when it comes to companies being hacked nowadays, social engineering is probably the easiest way to get in. I also do the Pen Test Plus class.
Right.
And we always say social engineering is the quickest way to get in. All right. So hopefully, people are wiser. Right. But at the same time, it's legit. There's real security in there.
Hey, social engineering, it's amazing how it's still going on. Obviously, it's never going to go away. I think we had someone from Billy Hurley from the IT Brew, and he was talking about a social engineering attack, and it was just unbelievable the extent that folks went to get into this organization. I can't remember the details right now, but that comes up quite frequently on this, on this program.
I show if you go to YouTube, you'll see Scam the Scammers. That's
Yeah.
a show. Have you ever
Yep.
seen that?
I have.
It's
Yes.
a beautiful show. I encourage it.
Yeah. It's
And
quite funny too.
as humans, we want to trust our neighbor. I think most people, we want to be trusting in nature. And so that's why it's so effective.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So Austin is in the chat letting us know he's pronouncing CYSA wrong. Austin, I don't know they're necessarily wrong. I'm lazy. I'm going to call it CySA for right now. CySA Plus is the most advanced cert. So speaking of CySA, CYSA, it's the most advanced cert in the program and probably the one most people know the least about going in. Can you walk us through what it covers and what to expect in that cert, in that course?
It's an advanced class.
Yeah.
All right. CySA cybersecurity analysts. There's a lot of jobs here in Florida. They're looking for people that can do this stuff all the time. It's more of a hands-on approach. We're in Security Plus. It's a lot of theory. We talk about it. And CySA Plus, we actually start scanning. We start using Nmap, which is a port scanning tool that's very popular in the industry. It's like it's on your tool belt, right? One of our tools. We have Wireshark. You actually start getting tested on this stuff. All right. And it's under the theory that, you just have to assume that you've been hacked and it's your job to go find it. All right. In the past, we were always reactive. Something would happen and we would react. We go into, incident response. Nowadays, we're proactive. You just have to assume that, we've definitely been hacked. It's my job to go find it. And hopefully in CySA, we help you, do that. We call it threat hunting. And we look for TTPs and IOCs, indicators of compromise, and tactics, threats, and procedures. It's all military terms. But it's a little bit more funner because, we do start to hack. It's like I'm going to show my students how to do a man-in-the-middle attack or an on-path attack with art poisoning and, lots of cool stuff because there's a very fine line between a cyber, a white hat hacker and a black hat hacker, the good guy and the bad guy.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so if you're going to catch the bad guy, you need to be right there with them. You know what I mean? And so this exposes that to you. And there's a lot of high paying careers that, you could get after CySA, even playing with the certificates and all that stuff that we talk about. And it is fun. It's a lot more funner. And the labs are legit. On the exam, they're going to test you. They're going to make sure you can find this stuff.
So I've heard, we are the folks that see all kind of the comments that are online, and we get to kind of interact with our audiences, which is great. But we've heard that it can be the CySA exam is difficult.
Yeah.
And that's the one where a lot of people seem to get tripped up when they're working through their certs.
Well, anything worth doing is never easy.
Well said.
Right? Isn't that what Kennedy said?
Right.
But you do get more time. Okay. Of all the CompTIA exams, this one gives you like an extra 45 minutes. All right. And it just hits you with simulation after simulation after simulation. But, it's not phony stuff. It's real world scenarios.
Right.
Okay. And so in the real world, nobody sits back and says, "All relax. It's okay." It's kind of how it goes, So I feel like the certification and going through it prepares you.
Yeah.
All right. Because it's pretty nasty out there at the moment, Aaron. My firewall's getting scanned every 5 to 6 seconds now, where just 5 years ago was probably every 36 seconds.
Give me a break. Every 5 seconds. I mean, seriously, what a world. I'm telling you. We need guys, folks like you, Robbie, and then all of the great folks that you teach, provide knowledge to, for sure.
I've got some people out there in the big jobs. It's amazing. I'll have to show you guys some of my LinkedIn connections.
Yeah, that'd be great. Obviously. All right. So, these 4 certifications that we're talking about, they build on each other.
Absolutely.
And they do so in a really deliberate way.
Yep.
Why does that order matter in terms of, the full program and understanding understanding the material?
Okay. So like I always say, like an A+, okay, we're going to talk about, a virus. And we're going to, we keep it pretty simple in A+. We talk about 2 different types of viruses. All right. And so you kind of get your head around it. And then Network Plus, we do the same thing. All right. And then you get into Security Plus, we talk about the 8 to 10 different types of viruses. All right. It just gets more and more advanced.
Right.
All right. And so it's the old expression, you got to learn how to crawl before you can walk, and you got to learn how to walk before you can learn how to run. Right.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I think, they've definitely got it in the right order. And it definitely gets easier when it's just like I said, by the time you get to CySA and you look back at Network Plus, you're like, geez, well, how did I fail that? What did I do
Right.
wrong? Right. And
Yeah.
so we have a lot of success. And the main thing is just don't give up. You just got to tell yourself, I can do this.
Okay. So when it comes to testing, that's obviously that can be a pain point and an understandable pain point. We have a lot of folks that will go through not a lot of folks. We do have folks that will go through the program and then maybe they don't test because, there might be some intimidation there or, worried about the result of the test. So let's talk about testing, Robbie. What's the single biggest mistake people make when they're preparing for these exams?
I don't think they study enough. I think you've got to study. You got to put in some time on the weekend. I always tell my students on Thursday, because we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. That's a night class. I said the worst thing you can do is nothing on the weekend, right?
Right.
You need to study. You need to keep looking at it. Even when I took the Cisco Instructor exam, I just dropped out of life for 3 months, right? And all I did was like focus on it, because I wanted that cert, right? And
Right.
immediately changed my life and my family's life. And another thing is I think people are kind of afraid of taking exams anyway.
Right.
Like if I fail, something bad's going to happen. And that's simply not the case. It's like I always say, okay, what's the worst case? You fail. All right. You have to fail before you can succeed. All right. And I'll tell you a little secret. Don't tell anybody, Aaron, but every instructor at the school has failed an exam before.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Yes.
And my first Cisco exam, my hand was shaking so bad I could barely hold the mouse, right? I could barely answer the questions. And I still shake when I take an exam, get nervous, especially one that's really important to me. But you just got to tell yourself, I can do this. I can do anything.
I'm glad you brought that up, Robbie. We had a webinar recently and we had 3 students from the Cyber Warrior program, in addition to Grant Gibson, and who led the conversation. And it was eye-opening because each one of those students had a similar story. They are successful now, they're doing well, but they failed at some point in the program. And, what they didn't do was give up. Obviously, they kept working through it. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Having a wife and 3 kids, I don't think I could give up, right? I always looked at it like I have to succeed.
Yep.
And I think that kind of helps as well. And really, I promise you, I'm not a genius, right? I'm just somebody that's put in the time. Everybody that passes these certifications, they've put in the time. Everybody starts on day one, the beginning. We've all had that day one. Right. And there's plenty of help. My CC probably gives out more help. We even have a line that you can call to get help with test anxiety.
Oh, I love it.
Mental help, right? Even if you're a veteran and you got some PTSD, they offer that as well. I've just never been in a company that cares so much.
Yeah, that's a great point. We do have, free counseling for all of our folks if interested. Yeah, it's a really good point. Glad you brought it up. So we hit on, I guess, a little bit of the negative with, where struggles might enter the conversation. But let's talk about let's accentuate a little positive here. Is there a point in the program, Robbie, where it just clicks, where you kind of see students go from that feeling of being overwhelmed? You may have hit on this a little bit, but just in case, there's more you'd like to say, when you go from feeling overwhelmed to where it's like, oh man, I get it.
Security Plus.
Got it.
The 3rd class, all right, because really we're going over it like the 3rd time and we're polishing you now. We're starting to really get a little more advanced. And you can see the students are answering the questions, they're looking at the same, they're building their confidence. I think they start beginning to trust the system and themselves. And you got to remember, a lot of these students haven't been to school in, 10, 15, 20 years. So you got to kind of learn how to study again. Right. Which is what I had to do. Right. I had to learn how to study again. So that's another thing that we do with the tutoring. We're like, hey, you got to, put the cell phone away,
which is
turn off the Facebook, right? All that fun stuff and just focus.
Right.
Right. I went to college for 4 years, and we give you, 4 certificates in 3 to 6 months, depending on which program, which is pretty quick, but that's how this world works now.
Absolutely. And that's part of I think the attraction of the program, obviously, and we talk about it a lot here. Ours is 3 months if you want to go, 8 to 5 all day. And then there's also an evening class, which Robbie it teaches, and it's a bit longer to work around your schedule. So I'm glad you mentioned that too. It looks like we have LeGuan. I hope I got your name correct over on LinkedIn. MyCC truly has an awesome cybersecurity curriculum. Great job, guys. Really appreciate the kind words.
Thank you very much.
Thank
That's
you,
very
thank you.
nice. Thank you.
All right, let's talk about a bit of real world situations here. So you've talked about graduates, and you've talked about folks that get jobs, Robbie.
Yeah.
When they land that job, how quickly are they going to start seeing some of the stuff that we're talking about here? These 4 certifications. How quickly does that show up in real situations?
It's a very common question, that, Aaron, because I think a lot of students are like, well, here I'm all certified. I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing. And they're afraid. They're like afraid to go get the job. They're like, I'm not sure I'm worthy of this. And trust me, nobody knows what they're doing.
Right. Yep.
All right. And so and they know that when they hire you, these certificates prove to them that, you can be trained. All right. So nobody's going to throw you on the help desk line and say, all right, go fix this firewall for Lockheed Martin and hurry up. Right. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. They're going to train you. It's to their advantage to bring you up. And the advantage of the real job is it's not everything. Okay. In school, we talk about everything. We go through all these different subjects. In the real world, you get your real world job and you focus on that section. All right. So you learn quick. Right. And most of these jobs are like, they call them temporary, where you get like a 4 to 6 months temporary job. And basically they give you the opportunity to prove yourself.
Yeah.
All right. And then they'll make you permanent. All right. And so I tell my students, that's your chance. Jump in there and prove to them that you can learn. And don't be afraid to ask for help. All right. Nobody minds helping you.
Right.
All right. That 4th time you ask me the same thing. Yeah, I'm probably going to start to get a little annoyed. All right. So maybe make some notes or record it on your cell phone or something. All right. But don't be afraid to ask for help. I'll gladly help you 3 times. No problem. All right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Popular question and conversation topic we have here as well. Where do you stand on the help desk? Is that something that should be avoided, or something people should jump into optimistically?
Well, you got to start somewhere. And, some help desk jobs are better than others. My wife actually did a help desk job for Spectrum. Am I allowed to say that?
Sure.
All right. And which I think was pretty tough. But, most IT people are kind of gypsies, right? You work at a company, and don't take this the wrong way. You work at a company, and if you are in a help desk, a lot of times they're not going to promote you. So, after 18 months or 12 months, you just look for another job. But the difference is you've got all that experience now.
Right. Right.
All right. So, we all started on day one, right?
Absolutely.
We've all done that job we didn't want to do.
And I think that's a really good point to mention as well. Get your foot in the door. Yep. Show that you can do the work, prove your worth, and you are going to move up in IT. You're going to move up anywhere, but especially in IT quickly.
And you're going to learn.
Right.
This is definitely a job where, you work 5 to 10 years, you can have a very good lifestyle. I've seen people do it in 2 years.
Yeah. Great.
Yep.
Well said. Okay. Let's get you out of here on this one, Robbie.
All right, Matt.
Someone's watching right now, they're interested, but, nervous, understandably, wondering if they're cut out for this. What do you tell that person?
You could do anything. How bad do you want to do it? Do you love technology? Do you like playing on that phone, playing on that computer? Are you the one that helps your relatives or your friends? All right. Or you just want to know more because it feels like, you don't know enough, right? You could do anything. You put in the time and you commit, you can do it. All right. And so every now and then we have a student that kind of struggles a little bit. We really go out of our way to help. And it's amazing how many times we actually get them through. But I've seen anybody and everybody do this, right? I don't care where you come from or whatever. I've seen anybody and everybody do it. Or whether you think you're smart or not smart, it doesn't matter, right?
Right. So age doesn't matter. Where you've been before,
Absolutely
your career
not.
doesn't matter. Just
Yep.
jump in, learn. You can do it.
Right. You're looking at an old dog right here. I learn every day.
I got you. Yeah, that's a way to do it. That's a great message for everyone. Never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
That is one heck of a benefit. All right. Did we cover everything, Robbie? You feeling good?
I felt good. I
Okay.
really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
spreading the word. We love helping people.
And we appreciate the knowledge. We are certainly going to dig in further, obviously, as mentioned. And there's Bruce. So Bruce is our chief marketing officer, and he never misses an opportunity to let people know some of our taglines. And that is, it's not rocket science, it's my computer career. We got you, Bruce. We got you. So there you go, folks. It's a good one. As promised, we are sharing Robbie's A+ Core 1 quiz. And Robbie, do you want to just let folks know what they can expect here?
What it is, it's some of the basic questions on A+. What we put in there, some hardware ports and troubleshooting, connectors, hardware and RAID. It's a multiple choice. All right. And they just pop up, and there's some little brief explanations there. And this is the stuff that I give to my students so they can study at home.
And you know, just to be perfectly honest, and Robbie will tell you this, this is information that's out in the world. He's just compiled it. We put it together so that you can jump in if you want to and use this or use anything else. But
absolutely,
it's a great point to kind of test yourself and see where you are. I did it a little bit, and just so everyone knows, I have no idea. So I'm not that, I'm not that person.
Maybe you should sit in my class.
Maybe so. Maybe I should. We have someone over on YouTube, Robbie, that says you're the best teacher I've had in a long time. Very nice.
Oh,
very, very nice. So thank you for that. We appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. So I think we can get out of here. I think we've covered enough. We are going to cover more down the road. With that in mind, we will be here next week, same time, same place, and we're going to talk about some student success, which is always our favorite topic, certainly. Austin, thank you. Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. I think that's it. If you don't mind hanging out just for a second, Robbie, as we kind of wrap this thing up, we'll connect afterwards. And for everybody else, please enjoy the rest of your days, and thank you so much for showing up. Have a great one.
Have a great weekend, everybody.